Welcome to the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. I am the Queen of Pep Talks, Jessica Battle, founder and CEO of the JJXO brand, where I coach, speak, and influence women to improve their mindsets so they can become happier, healthier, and more successful than ever before. I am obsessed with helping women create the unwavering ability to believe in themselves in order to achieve a life beyond their wildest dreams. Each week, I'll bring you a series of pep talks that will encourage you to break through your own limiting beliefs and help you develop the mindset that will allow you to show up in your life to the best of your ability. If you are looking to lose your own bullshit excuses, get out of your own way, and grow into your infinite potential, well then, you're in the right place. Are you with me? Let's dive in. Hello, my love, and welcome back to another episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. Happy Wednesday. I hope that your day is off to the most fantastic start. I am very excited for today's JJXO episode, where I'm going to be sharing a conversation with one of my beautiful clients, Chrissy. She is just such a gorgeous human. I cannot tell you, Chrissy, I know that you will listen to this, and I know that I tell you all of the time, your love and gratitude and appreciation for me, it never, ever, ever goes unnoticed. Chrissy is actually one of my very first clients from the start of my coaching business. She worked with me inside of the Mind, Body, and Spirit Transformation program. She took that course, I think like 3 or 4 times maybe, because it was so transformational for her. She has had an incredibly transformational story of her own. She has lost 139 pounds. She has overcome binge and emotional eating. She has created incredible habits and routines in her life. She has graduated with her bachelor's degree. She has improved her credit. She has gone through a divorce and now found the love of her life. She is an incredible mother. She's just such a beautiful human. And I know that this conversation is going to deeply inspire you. One of the most beautiful things that I hope you will take away from this conversation is that it is never too late to decide that you want to create radical change in any single area of your life. And I know that this conversation is evidence that once you start working on one area of your life, the changes and improvements and mindset shifts that you are making in that area, they begin to leak in the most beautiful way into every other area of your life. And Chrissy is absolute evidence of that. We are now working together inside of the Total Package, and she has started her own coaching business. I'm just so proud of her and so excited for everything that is to come for her over the next couple of months while we continue working together. She has been in and out of coaching programs, masterclasses with me, and now inside of the mastermind for the last 3 years. And even when she wasn't in my courses, she was always so plugged into my content, so plugged into the podcast, really just doing the best that she could to soak up every single thing that I say. And let me just say that the transformation that she has made in her life shows how she not just listened, but she implemented. She has continued to take action. She is so coachable. And when I share something with her, she takes it out into her life and she implements immediately. And I know that that is one of the reasons why she has been so insanely successful, and there's even more success awaiting her. So I'll share that conversation with you in just a minute, but I do want to talk about 2 opportunities to work with me. Let's talk about 3. We'll include the retreat. I want to talk to you today about the first masterclass of 2023, which is happening on February 2nd. I want to talk to you about the 3rd annual JJXO retreat. And I also want to talk to you about the Total Package, because doors to that are opening in just a couple of days. And the women inside are blowing me away already. And I just cannot wait to see what the next 3 months with them is going to hold. So first up is the first masterclass of 2023. This is happening on the 2nd of February. I believe the price has already increased. Yes, the price has already increased. So the current price point is $77. Inside of this masterclass, I am going to teach you how to reframe and recreate any negative or limiting belief that you have in your life. The reality is you want something in your life. I'm sure, I hope you have goals that you're working towards achieving, things that you want to achieve in your life. Until your mind matches your desire and you actually believe that success is possible for you, you're not going to take the action that's required in order for you to create the change that you are wanting or achieve the goal that you desire in your life. Your mind will 10 out of 10 times stand in the way of you going after and fully showing up and taking aligned action with getting what it is that you want until you learn to manage the way that you think, manage the thoughts that you have, and become a woman who is powerful enough to override the thoughts that her mind is feeding her. When your mind right now is telling you, I can't do this, I'm not sure, I don't know how, I'm afraid, I'm not ready yet, are you listening? And is that holding you back from taking action towards what it is that you want? If that answer is yes, if you're currently a woman who is listening when her mind tells her she can't do it, you're too old, it's too late, you're never going to be successful, why even bother? What's the point? You're afraid, you're not ready, you can't afford that. Any limiting belief that is trying to hold you back from going after what you want, if you're listening, you need to be inside of this masterclass, because I am going to teach you exactly how you can hear that thought, but you can show up and take action towards what you want anyway. And when you're able to do that, guess what happens? You take more aligned action, you move closer to achieving what it is that you want, and you create more success than ever before in your life. First masterclass of 2023 is going to be one for the books, and I am so incredibly excited for it. Second thing I want to talk about is the JJXO retreat, third annual retreat happening in Fort Lauderdale, Florida in October of 2023. And your girl is hype. I am so excited because number one, October is going to be a month of stillness and slowness for me. HPS will be over. I will have graduated. I will have gone on a nice, relaxing vacation. I will have recorded my speaker reel with HPS. And it's going to be like chill time for me leading up to the retreat. So you are going to get the best version of me that has ever existed. And I'm so excited to be in person with the women who are going to be there. We are going to spend a long weekend together, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, in a gorgeous villa in sunny, warm Florida. We're going to have a pool. It is going to be an entire vibe. Incredible meals, delicious food, beautiful sisterhood, so much healing, so much growth, and I am going to be presenting my first ever keynote with you guys. The keynote that I am focusing on writing inside of HPS right now will be complete before the retreat. I will have it mastered. I will have delivered it. And the first time that I share it publicly will be with you. It's just literally going to be the best time ever. All inclusive. Once you show up, I'm going to pamper you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of everything that you need while we are together. And it's just going to be the best time ever. Like if you're looking for sisterhood, if you're looking for community, if you're looking for connection, the JJXO retreat is the place for you to come to get that. Okay. And then finally, the total package. This is my 3-month high level mastermind. We are opening doors on January 29th. So in just a couple of days, if you resonate with Chrissy, she is inside of the total package. You are going to love her. She is an incredible human surrounded by so many other incredible women inside of this space. If you're a coach or aspiring coach who is really desiring to learn not just the strategy, I'm going to give you that in 60 plus trainings. You're going to get a boatload of information, but also the personalized coaching and support to go alongside it so that when you learn something and you go and implement, I am there. When you're struggling, when you're succeeding, when your mind is trying to stop you, this is personalized coaching on a daily basis from me, and you will just be surrounded by the most beautiful humans that have ever existed on this earth. If you want to put yourself in the room where women are working hard towards achieving their goals and sharing everything that's happening with you while it's going on, and a space for you to share everything that you're going through as you're working towards achieving your goals, the total package, my masterminds are just the best place ever. Get your booty in there. And just a reminder, I'm going to share this on Instagram today, so you're going to probably have already seen this, especially if you read on my feed. But the thing is, if you are a coach right now and you believe in coaching when it comes to your clients hiring you, but when it's time for you to pay a coach, you're talking yourself out of it, what is that saying? So you believe that you're worthy of being paid by your clients, but you don't believe that you're worthy of investing in for your own coach. If you believe in coaching for your clients, you have to believe in coaching in this industry as a whole and see the value in you also having a coach. Not saying that it has to be me, but just go hire the coach that is going to activate you, expand you, teach you, and hold you through everything that you're going through in your business, because it is an emotional roller coaster. I was just crying this morning and now I'm feeling so much better. But the truth is, entrepreneurship is so fucking hard. You deserve to be supported on your journey to creating massive success in your own coaching business, okay? Link to the first masterclass of 2023 is in the show notes of this episode. Reach out to me if you are interested in the retreat, and reach out to me if you are interested in the total package so we can have a conversation. Okay, I love you to absolute pieces. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation with Chrissy. Please go connect with her on social media. You can find her at Christina_your mindset coach, and we will put that information in the show notes of this episode. Her story is so incredibly inspiring. It will be so impactful if you're looking for motivation on your weight loss journey and to be inspired by a woman who literally completely transformed her life despite all of the odds that were against her. You are going to absolutely adore Chrissy. Okay. I love you so much. Enjoy this conversation, and I will talk to you on the next episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. See you guys. Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. As I mentioned in the introduction to this episode, I am talking with my beautiful client, Chrissy, and I am very, very excited for her to share her experience in working with me. We worked together back in, I think, like my first, maybe second session of MBS. So I have known Chrissy for many, many, many years, and I watched her transform not just her body, but her life. She's gone through many transformations over the last several years. And now we're working together in the total package, which makes me so happy because she has so many beautiful gifts to share with the world. And I'm so grateful to be a part of bringing that to fruition. So thank you, Chrissy, for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excited. I'm so excited for my audience to get to know you. I think you're just such a beautiful human, and who you are, I know, will inspire so many women in my audience who maybe feel like it's too late for them in life to make really serious changes. I have heard women at 30 years old say, it's too late for me. And I'm like, woman, would you wake up? So would you be willing to share a little bit about your story and kind of what you've gone through and how you've transformed over the last several years?
It's so funny that you said too late, because I said that to myself so many times. Like, you're 45 years old. What difference does it make? What are you going to do at this point to make changes that will actually matter? I think because my self-esteem was so shattered when I met you that I was almost kind of using that as a crutch too. Any excuse to not change I used. I was in a loveless marriage. It was more of a marriage of convenience. And like I said, I didn't have any self-esteem. So I was just in a really, really corruptive place in my life. I was living to exist, to take care of my children, to work, to pay my bills. And then it wasn't a life. It wasn't living at all. I was just existing.
Yeah. No joy, no happiness, just going through the motions of the day to day. And I think I know that for myself, I was living that kind of life at 25 years old. Even before that, 20 to 25, it was like, just wake up and go through the motions of the day, couldn't wait for the day to end just so it could be over, to wake up and do it all over again the next day. And I think there are so many women who feel that way in their lives, where they're just going through the motions and living on autopilot. What was it that really shifted for you at 45 years old, where you had convinced yourself for so long, like, it's too late for me. What's the point? Why even bother? This is just, it is what it is. What shifted in you that made you believe in yourself enough to say, like, I'm worth working towards creating the change that I want for myself?
So somehow, some way, I found your Instagram. I don't know how I came across it, but I found it. And the first thing that resonated with me is something you said when you said, it is not selfish to prioritize yourself. Mm-hmm. So I lived for my two girls. That's all that mattered to me. Like everything was about them. And I felt like that's what it had to be. That's how it should be to be a good mom. Again, it could have been I was using that as a crutch, but somebody else saying it is not selfish to make yourself a priority, whatever it was. Like I always tell you, like, you're my angel, but truthfully, like what you said resonated with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it was just a different perspective of looking at things. It's okay to go to the gym. It's okay to take time to in the morning just for myself to put I don't know how to meditate, but to put my thoughts together and just, figure out what my intention, and to hear someone else saying it kind of justified it for me in my head or my mind. And for whatever reason, I was just ready to hear it.
Yeah.
I think, sometimes you can hear things a million times and you're not ready for it. And then just this one time and it clicks, and it just clicked for me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you share that, because I think so many people think, well, I've heard that before, or I know that, but just because you hear it or it doesn't mean that it is ignited like that spark inside of you that will push you to start doing the things that will lead you down the path of creating change. And sometimes we just need to be at a different point in our lives or in different circumstances, or open to hearing perspectives in a different way that can really push us to do things. Even though we've heard the things before, it will push us to do things that we hadn't necessarily tried before. So
Correct.
Can I ask now, I think this will be really beneficial for my audience. So you're leaving out some of the really important celebratory things about yourself. Like, you haven't even shared with my audience that you've lost like over 100 pounds, and you've done so much work on your consistency and your dedication and taking care of yourself, all things that I am so proud of you for. And I know you're really proud of yourself for. Can you talk about how prioritizing yourself, you once in your life thought it was selfish for you to do that and your kids should be the only things that you care about? How has prioritizing yourself made you a better mom?
In every single way, because for the most importantly, I am being a living example.
Mm-hmm.
I am showing them how important it is. Like, when I tell them all the time, when you get up in the morning, you put yourself first. You are your best and strongest advocate for yourself, and you always will be, because you can always rely on yourself. You shouldn't put yourself in a position to rely on anybody else. So they're seeing me prioritize myself, which is so important. I didn't see it back then. I didn't see that showing them making yourself a priority should come first. So as far as becoming a better mom, working out, choosing my food wisely, showing them that it's okay to mess up. It's not a straight line. And the most important thing I think I realized, and this was just recently, because after I lost 139 pounds, I gained back almost 40 of it. So more recently, showing them that there's not a finish line. It's a lifelong commitment. And that's another thing that you taught me. And again, it had to be like at the right time for me to hear it, because I felt like once I got to that weight loss, I was done. I was done. I was still working out, but not consistently. I was like halfway showing up. I was eating better for the most part, but I was giving myself like so much slack, and slack is okay at times, but when you're getting carried away, it was just, I took it to the extreme of, yes, I made it. Let's rock and roll. I'm out of here. Like, it's party time. And I realized like there is never a finish line. It's a lifelong commitment. Yeah. So showing them that as well, like, you're going to mess up and it's okay. Like, it's what we learn from those mess ups to make us stronger that really matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfection, it's not a real thing. And you really do have to be in love with the journey to achieving what you want, because the work really is never over. Even when you're like, oh my gosh, I put in so much work, it's like, well, there's still more work to do. So I hope you're enjoying the process of getting there.
Right.
But I think that's I don't know if you follow or listen to Ed Milet at all. He's someone who I really adored in the self-development space. He recently has been sharing this message. I think it was a keynote speech that he did, where he's talking about parents encouraging and empowering their children to go after what they want in life and chase their big dreams and be consistent and stay dedicated. And in his message, he's like talking in the kid's voice, and he's like, yeah, but like, what about you, mom? And what about you, dad? Mm-hmm. Like, you're telling me to do it, but you're not leading by example. Like, you're telling me I can do it, but you're not showing me how to do it, because you're not being a living, breathing example of that. And I think it's so true. Like, our parents, they want to encourage us and empower us and inspire us to be better and greater than they were. But at the same time, especially in the years, like, I know your youngest daughter, like, she's really watching you very closely right now and is like, well, what mom does speaks speaks 10 times louder than what mom says to do. And I think a lot of parents don't realize that. Yes, your words matter, but your actions and who you choose to be, you're leading by example for them. And that is so powerful because you get to show them how, not just tell them what to do. You get to lead the way for them. And you have the experience of doing it yourself to share with them the trials and tribulations, right? The ups and downs, the failures along the way. And you get to encourage them like, hey, mom has been through this too. I know what it feels like to fail. And I know what it feels like to pick yourself up and keep going. And you're capable of doing that. And I know that because I've done it myself.
So at 320 pounds, I was telling my girls, don't eat this, don't eat that. You need to work out. I used to push them so much because I wanted better for them. I didn't want them to be my protege. I wanted them to have better.
Yeah.
And when I look back, I'm like, how ridiculous, because my youngest daughter's pediatrician told me, you have to be an example. And that stung, but it was true. It was true. You have to be an example.
Yeah. And now you're chasing new business ventures in your life and you get to be an example for them. Like I don't know how are you 45 now?
48.
48. Okay. So at 48, you're going after new things in your life. And it's like, that just makes me so fucking happy because it's like evidence for your kids that like at any point in your life, you can decide that you want something new, that you want something different, that you want to change a part of your life. And I think so many people just give up on their lives far too soon. At 40, 50, people are like, oh, it's too late for me. And it's like, if you have a day left on this earth, it's not too late for you to go after what you really want for yourself.
It's so true. It's so true. And like I said, it's so easy to use it as a crutch.
Yeah.
Just an excuse to not, because it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 320 pounds, it hurt to move. My oldest daughter literally took my hand and walked me around the track because it was so painful for me to move. And I was crying and I was so disgusted with myself and even more so embarrassed that I was to this point. But it's much more comfortable to just stay where you are, and it's a lot safer.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of work and passion and motivation. You know, I mean, it's harder to do the work, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the core of all of this is really seeing yourself as a person who is valuable and worth taking care of. And it's very sad that most women don't feel that way about themselves. They don't feel like they're worth showing up and putting in the hard work for, and that it's really heartbreaking. Can we rewind to about 3 years ago, I guess it was, when you signed up for MBS? So you had been connected with me for a while prior to that. Can you talk about what you were feeling in your life when you decided to reach out to join the MBS program? Where were you in your life? I know that was prior to going through your divorce, right? Can you talk about kind of where you were and what you were feeling and what it was you were really hoping to gain when you hired me to work with you inside of MBS?
Yes. So when I joined MBS, that was the first time I invested in myself. That's when I started realizing that, you know, that I deserve this. I literally took MBS 4 times.
I remember.
It was a safe place. It was a non-judgmental place. It was a place where I had something in common with every single person in that space. And for the first time, it was like I had a light, like I had something to look forward to. People understood me, and I knew when I went into that container, I was going to gain something from it. So each time I went, I literally learned something new. Like we were talking about, it's just when you open your heart and your mind to be ready to hear things, you can hear a different message. It's pretty amazing. But every single time that I went in, I got so much out of it. You know, the sisterhood, the love, the compassion, just even more than just the lessons that were being taught. So much more come from that place.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite parts of the MBS experience is the sisterhood that's built among the women inside, because a lot of what we talk about in that space, emotional eating, overeating, binge eating, hiding food, not prioritizing yourself, those are things that bring up a lot of feelings of shame and embarrassment for people. And they're not things that you want to talk about with friends or with family. So to be able to cultivate a safe space where women can share so openly about what they're going through and what they've been through, and know that there's no judgment, but you're going to be surrounded by support and people who not just want to love you and support you, but also understand what it's like to go through what you're going through. And I think that that is just absolutely priceless.
Absolutely priceless. That's why I kept coming back is because I couldn't get enough of it. And it was kind of like, your stories on Instagram. I couldn't wait to hear what you had to say. Same idea, just with a group of women. I couldn't wait to hear what your message was. And in the interim, just having the love and support and compassion from all the other women in there that could, I remember somebody talking about, we were speaking about buying food in the house and then replacing it before it was noticed. And I was like, my God, somebody else gets it. Somebody else is doing this. I was so embarrassed to admit it because it's embarrassing, and it was shameful.
But we're not alone. And I think that that's one of the most powerful parts of coaching spaces, where you're not just one-on-one with the coach, but you're also surrounded by other people who are there to experience the same, program or whatever it is that you're doing. You all have something in common, and it allows you to feel like you're not alone and you're not crazy and there's not something wrong with you, because that's something I felt for so much of my life when I was struggling with binge eating. I felt like, what is wrong with me? I feel like I'm the only one that's doing this. And then I realized there's an entire community of women going through this experience, and to be able to create a safe place where women can come together and talk about that openly and freely without fear of judgment. It just, it's such a powerful thing, because I think community it's so important. And so many women are feeling so alone and misunderstood and not supported in their lives. And I think that's a part of coaching that gets overlooked, is the community support that can be felt when you put yourself in a space like that.
Right. And I remember you saying something about once you start caring about yourself and taking care of yourself, everything in your life kind of comes together. I'll never forget that. My credit score went from, this sounds so silly, but my credit score went from like a 490 to almost 800. Like everything just mattered. I finished, I got my bachelor's degree. I just started wanting to improve everything in my life because I finally realized it was worth it.
Yeah. And you recognize how good it feels. I'm so happy that you brought this up, because one of the things that I said on another podcast, or I was talking about MBS, is when women come into that course, they think that the entire focus is going to be relationship with food. And yes, there's a focus on relationship with food, but the deeper focus is the relationship that you have with yourself. Because when you raise the standard for how you will treat yourself and how you show up for yourself, that doesn't just change in terms of the way that you eat and the food that you put into your body. It raises the standard in the relationships that you have, in the boundaries that you have, in who you choose to spend your time with, in the way that you handle your money, in the way that you treat your job or your business. You literally up level in every area of your life when you start to care about yourself and see yourself as someone that is worthy of being taken care of.
I used to not even go to the doctors because I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't care. And just as I was growing and becoming stronger and more mindful, everything mattered.
Yeah.
Everything mattered.
What was the main thing that you were looking to achieve? If you can remember back to the first time that you signed up for MBS, what was it that you were really craving to achieve at that point in your life? I know your mindset was in a darker place and you weren't really loving yourself the way that you deserve to. What was it you really wanted when you came into that experience?
Literally just hope. Like, do I have a chance? It was almost like my last, I don't know how to put it into words, but I just needed some hope. Like I had given up on everything. And after watching you and your stories and realizing that you ran this, and I was like, you're so real and you're so passionate. And I just was holding on to hope that maybe I could find my way in this program. And thank God I did. So grateful.
Because look at you now. Like, look at what you have achieved now. And so many things, leaving a loveless relationship where you weren't appreciated, losing 130 pounds, like remaining consistent, being an incredible example to your daughters, improving your credit score, cleaning up your finances, graduating from college, like all things that you did in your 40s, where women are like, it's too late for me. I'm like, no, just look at Chrissy, because like literally you're proving that there's no box that we have to put ourselves in terms of when it's too late in life. And I just love that you are an example of that, because I wish that more women would see, if you're here on earth and there's air in your lungs, like you are worth taking care of and making the changes that you're craving. And you've done that in so many different areas of your life. And I'm just so proud of you and so grateful to witness that.
Thank you. You're a huge, huge component in this. And I tell you that all the time, and it probably sounds so mundane, but it's so, so true. So true.
It's never mundane. I love and appreciate every time you reach out and let me know the impact that I've had on you. One of the things that you said, so we worked together in MBS many times, and then you've taken master classes with me here and there. You took the Love Your Body boot camp twice, I think. And most recently you joined the Total Package, and we're working on building your coaching business, because you now have value to bring. You've always had value, but you now have passion and value to bring to other women in this world who are looking to create similar transformation and improving their mindsets, changing their bodies. So amazing. One of the things that you said inside of our Voxer chat in the Total Package was that you have always loved me and adored me, but something along the lines of, you now have a new level of respect for me and the way that I carry myself in that space, and how open and compassionate and patient I am with my clients in Voxer. Can you talk a little bit more about, because MBS, when we were running the course together, was very different than the way that I coach now. There wasn't a lot of talking in a group like there is in the Total Package. Can you talk about what it's been like to be in a space with me where you get to plug in for support anytime that you want, and I'm there to walk you through what you're needing help with, or give you the pep talk that you need, or the encouragement? Can you talk about what it's like to share the Total Package space with me?
Coming into the Total Package, I knew zero about starting my own online business. I knew zero. I just knew that I have a passion to share, and that I want to help women who are possibly in my position and help them get to a good place in their life. No matter what question I have, which can be from so random, just anything that comes to my mind, whether it's me or anyone else in that space, you never, ever make us feel like, are you kidding me? Like, that's such a ridiculous question. It's just, again, another safe place, but in a different level. You literally will hold our hands and tell us step by step what we need to know to execute what we're trying to execute. And it doesn't matter if we ask you 35 times, you'll keep doing it until we feel comfortable with what we're doing. And always letting us know that you're there for us, and we can leave a message. And shortly after, you'll give us some strong feedback, not just quick, well, this will answer your question. You'll say, if you still have questions, let me know. And if I can support you in another way, let me know. That's priceless. It's truly, there's no way that I maybe could have done this, but there's no way it would been a lot more difficult, and it would have taken a lot more time.
Yeah.
There's no comparison.
I appreciate that so much. I really do pride myself in being a coach who really cares. Like, there are a lot of coaches out there, and I think there are a lot of coaches who come into the coaching space thinking that they're going to make a lot of money very quickly, and they're lacking the real compassion for the human on the other side of the transaction. And I care so much about my clients and your well-being and what you're working towards, and being a support system for you. So I deeply, deeply appreciate that. And I really do feel that having that kind of support really is priceless. I don't think that we need coaches or mentors to be successful, but I think that they are an opportunity for us to learn things at such a quicker pace. But also, it's not just the knowing what to do. It's when the mind wants to get in the way, and having someone there to talk you through the limiting beliefs or the self-sabotage that's coming up, having access to that. It's so beneficial, not just for what you're trying to achieve, but for you as a person navigating, making those big changes.
That, and also being in that space with, the small group of women, every question they have will benefit you.
Mm,
You're learning so much from what they're asking, which you couldn't do it's impossible to do that on your own,
mhm.
which makes it a huge benefit.
Yeah, I love that you share that because I think it's one of the most powerful parts of a mastermind is that sometimes you don't even have questions or know that you have questions, and then you get them answered. Questions that you didn't even know you have are answered because other women in that space are bringing them to the table. It's not just a conversation between you and I, but a conversation between me, you, and 9 other women who are sharing what they're going through. And all of the coaching that I give is going to be beneficial for every single person in that space.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if there's someone listening right now who is interested in maybe healing her relationship with food, losing weight, feeling better, creating more consistency, or maybe building a business, and they're thinking about hiring me to be the coach that helps them with that, but maybe they're afraid of the financial investment, or they're trying to convince themselves that it's too late for them or it's not possible. What would you say to a woman that's sitting on the fence right now of hiring me and wanting to improve her life in any capacity, but is just feeling a little bit fearful around it?
So I would say this is something that you cannot put a price tag on. You truly cannot. And how can you go wrong when you're investing in yourself?
Mm,
It is the single most important thing you can ever do in your life, over and over and over again,
yeah.
because it's a lifelong commitment and there's always room to growth in different areas of your life, but you cannot go wrong. And if you overthink it, you can convince yourself of a million reasons why it's not the right time or the right course or whatever. Just do it. Just do it.
I love that so much. There are things that I have even almost overthought around where it's like, I'm going to hold myself back from a really incredible opportunity because my mind is going to convince me that it's not the right time, or I can't afford it, or I shouldn't do it, or I'm going to fail. We all have those thoughts and those experiences. It's a decision to sit in them, or it's a decision to say, I know that I want this despite the fears and the limiting beliefs that are coming up right now, and being brave enough and courageous enough to take that leap and invest in yourself, because it is, I believe it, we are the best investment that we can ever make. And we're so willing to make things happen for other people. Our partners want expensive gifts. Our kids need things. Like, we'll find a way to make it happen for someone else. But for ourselves, it's like, oh no, I could never.
1,000%. 1,000%. Yes.
I adore you, and I'm just so proud of everything that you have accomplished. It's been such a joy for me to witness you just level up in so many different areas of your life. And most importantly, to see you being a woman who really loves and appreciates herself, for me, is just priceless. I don't care what capacity I'm working with clients in, whether it's relationship with food or business. The thing that I care about the most in all of the work that I do is that the women who I work with hold themselves to a standard of loving themselves no matter what, unconditionally. There's no condition around loving yourself or treating yourself with kindness and compassion. And I see that in you every time I speak with you. And it just makes me just so happy and so proud of you. And I'm so grateful to have witnessed this alongside you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. Share with my audience where they can connect with you online if they're desiring to be inspired by your incredible transformation and story.
Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I kind of live there. Christina, your mindset coach.
Amazing. We'll put that in the show notes of this episode. If you are a woman who feels like it's too late in your life to create the change that you are seeking or really wanting, I really recommend that you connect with Christina, because she will show you it is never too late for you to decide that you are worth working hard for and creating the change that you deserve in your life.
Thank you, Jess.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on to the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. I love you all so very much. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Go connect with Christina, and I'll talk to you guys on the next episode. See ya. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you were inspired by today's pep talk, be sure to share it with me by leaving a rating and review on iTunes so I can keep the encouragement coming your way. I hope you know that your support in helping me grow the podcast this year, it means so much to me. If we aren't already connected on social media, head over to Join Jessica XO on Instagram, or join the Join Jessica XO free Facebook community for even more content that will inspire you to show up in your life to the best of your ability. Make sure you check out the show notes of today's episode for links to freebies, upcoming opportunities to work with me, and ways that we can stay connected outside of the podcast. I love you so much, and I cannot wait to chat with you on the next episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. In the meantime, go fuck this day up in the best way possible.